The long-simmering conflict between Israel and Iran has erupted into open military confrontation, drawing global attention. For decades, tensions simmered beneath the surface, but now, the world is witnessing a dangerous escalation that could reshape the Middle East and beyond. The eyes of governments, analysts, and ordinary people everywhere are fixed on this crisis, wondering what comes next. What was once a shadow war of spies and proxies has become direct strikes between two of the Middle East's most powerful nations. Covert operations, cyber attacks, and secret missions have given way to open military exchanges, raising the stakes for everyone involved. This escalation threatens not just the region but global stability, risking energy supplies, economic turmoil, and the involvement of superpowers like the US, Russia, and China. The world's oil flows through these waters, and any disruption could send shockwaves through global markets, affecting everything from gas prices to food costs. The stakes are immense. A wider war could devastate economies and ignite a humanitarian crisis. Millions could be affected, with infrastructure destroyed, families torn apart, and entire communities forced to flee their homes. Civilians in Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza already face displacement and daily danger as the conflict expands. For many, life is a constant struggle for safety, food, and shelter, as violence and uncertainty become part of daily existence. To understand why this rivalry is so dangerous, we'll explore its origins, the forces driving it, and the recent events pushing both countries to the brink. The roots of this conflict run deep, shaped by history, ideology, and shifting alliances. We'll break down Iran's revolutionary ideology, Israel's nuclear fears, and the powerful narratives that fuel mistrust and hostility on both sides. And we'll examine the proxy wars raging across the region, where local conflicts are inflamed by outside powers, turning the Middle East into a battleground for influence and control. Only by understanding these complex dynamics can we grasp what's truly at risk for the Middle East, and for the world. The outcome of this conflict could shape the future of international relations, security, and peace for years to come. Before 1979, Israel and Iran were unlikely partners, sharing intelligence, oil, and a mutual distrust of powerful Arab neighbors. Their relationship was pragmatic, built on shared interests rather than deep friendship, but it was significant in a region marked by shifting alliances and constant tension. Both countries saw value in cooperation, quietly working together behind the scenes while the world's attention was elsewhere. The Islamic Revolution changed everything. In a matter of months, Iran was transformed by a tidal wave of popular unrest, religious fervor, and anti-Western sentiment. The Shah's fall and Ayatollah Khomeini's rise transformed Iran into a theocracy built on anti-Americanism and fierce opposition to Israel's existence. Khomeini's vision was not just to change Iran, but to inspire a broader movement against Western influence across the Middle East. Overnight, Iran severed ties and branded Israel the Little Satan, making hostility a core part of its foreign policy. The new regime made it clear: Israel was now an enemy, not a partner. The conflict became ideological and existential, not just political. Anti-Israel rhetoric filled the streets, and the revolution's leaders encouraged a new generation to see Israel as a symbol of oppression. Iran's new mission, export its revolution and challenge the US-backed regional order, became central to its identity. The regime sought to inspire and support like-minded movements across the Middle East. Direct war was off the table, so Iran turned to building a network of militant allies. These groups would serve as proxies, extending Iran's reach and influence far beyond its borders. This axis of resistance would become Iran's main tool to confront Israel, fueling decades of conflict and shaping the region's power dynamics. The partnership was replaced by a zero-sum rivalry that would shape the region for decades. Old alliances crumbled, and a new era of confrontation began. The seeds of today's crisis were sown in that revolutionary moment, setting the stage for a rivalry that continues to define the Middle East. Unable to fight Israel directly, Iran built a network of proxies to wage war by other means. Hezbollah in Lebanon, created with Iranian support, now fields over 150,000 rockets aimed at Israel. Hamas in Gaza, though Sunni, receives Iranian funding and weapons, united by a common enemy. The October 2023 Hamas attack on Israel showed the deadly reach of Iran's proxy strategy. In Syria, Iranian-backed militias have entrenched near Israel's border, while in Iraq and Yemen, Tehran's allies target Israeli and U.S. interests. The result, Israel faces threats on multiple fronts, with Iran orchestrating attacks from afar. This proxy network keeps Israel under constant pressure and gives Iran plausible deniability. The Ring of Fire strategy has made the conflict regional, persistent, and deeply unpredictable. Israel's greatest fear is a nuclear-armed Iran. Iranian leaders' threats, combined with nuclear ambitions, drive Israel's security doctrine. Israel has used sabotage, cyber attacks like Stuxnet, and targeted assassinations to slow Iran's nuclear program. The Mossad's covert operations aim to disrupt and intimidate, keeping Iran from crossing the nuclear threshold. Israeli leaders insist they'll do whatever it takes to prevent an Iranian bomb, even military action. This nuclear standoff ensures the rivalry remains a constant existential threat. For years, Israel and Iran fought a war between the wars, a shadow conflict waged in Syria, at sea, and in cyberspace. Israel's airstrikes in Syria targeted Iranian bases and weapons convoys, aiming to block Tehran's entrenchment and arms transfers to Hezbollah. Maritime sabotage and cyber attacks became routine, each side inflicting pain without triggering all-out war. This delicate balance relied on unwritten rules and mutual restraint. But the October 2023 Hamas attack shattered the status quo. Israel escalated, Iran abandoned patience, and the conflict spilled into the open. The era of plausible deniability ended, replaced by open confrontation. The shadow war's collapse set the stage for today's direct clashes. In spring 2024, the shadow war ended with an Israeli strike on an Iranian consular building in Damascus, killing senior IRGC commanders. Iran retaliated with an unprecedented barrage. Over 300 drones and missiles launched directly at Israel. For the first time, both nations struck each other openly, crossing red lines and escalating the conflict. Israel responded with deep strikes inside Iran, proving its reach. The tit-for-tat escalated, Hezbollah ramped up attacks, Israel launched Operation Northern Arrows, and Iran fired another massive missile salvo. Assassinations and sabotage followed, including the killing of Hezbollah's leader, and explosions in Tehran. The conflict is now direct, volatile, and unpredictable. Each strike risks a wider war, with no clear off-ramp. The old rules are gone. Now, every action threatens to ignite the region. The world is watching a new, dangerous era unfold. The Israel-Iran conflict now threatens not just the region but the entire world. What began as a long-standing rivalry has escalated into a dangerous standoff, with global consequences hanging in the balance. If war erupts, the Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for global energy, could be closed, instantly disrupting a fifth of the world's oil supply. This would send shockwaves through international markets, causing oil prices to skyrocket and triggering economic chaos that could ripple across every continent, affecting everything from fuel costs to food prices. The United States, bound by its alliance with Israel, would almost certainly be drawn in. Meanwhile, Iran's deepening ties with Russia and China risk transforming a regional conflict into a global showdown, with the world's major powers facing off in a dangerous new arena. Both Israel and Iran possess formidable militaries, equipped with advanced weaponry and technology. Any direct clash would unleash devastating firepower, leaving cities in ruins and civilians caught in the crossfire, facing unimaginable suffering and loss. Israel would likely face attacks not only from Iran, but also from Iranian-backed groups across the region. In response, Iran risks massive, targeted airstrikes on its core infrastructure, threatening to cripple its economy and military capabilities. The humanitarian toll would be catastrophic. Millions could be forced to flee their homes, entire communities might be wiped out, and the region would face a refugee crisis on a scale not seen in decades. Diplomacy is racing against time, as world leaders scramble to prevent disaster. Yet deep mistrust, political pressures, and public anger on both sides make compromise elusive, pushing the region ever closer to the brink. In this tense environment, a single miscalculation or misunderstanding could ignite a war that no one truly wants, but that everyone would be forced to endure. Around the world, people watch anxiously, hoping for peace. Yet the danger of an uncontrollable conflict, one that could reshape the global order, has never been higher. The future of the Middle East, and the stability of the entire world, now hangs in the balance, as the world holds its breath and hopes for a peaceful resolution.